Hello, comrades. We're back again. This is Brother Jamala, also known as Brother Soldier. We left off with the certain message I had for the continent of Africa, the Black Africans, and the blacks in the diaspora. And then I had the message before that, or the video before that, was more of a message to the West. And now we're going to talk about what is the reason that the Black African in the diaspora or anywhere in the world seems to rise up nowadays when a white on black crime is committed, especially by law enforcement. What is it that makes the people come out in mass demonstration, but not necessarily come out with the same enthusiasm when a black is victimized by another black? I hear these questions come many times from some of the most questionable black so-called leaders in the diaspora when a black is killed. And there could be many answers to this, but they always say, why are you coming out saying Black Lives Matter, but yet when it comes to a white on black crime, but then when there's a black on black crime, you hardly have anything to say. There's no mass demonstration. There's a lot of ways to answer this. So Brother Soldier doesn't want to make any excuses for our brothers in the struggle and our sisters in the struggle. We don't want to make any excuses today. Let's just wrap. Let's just wrap. We're flowing. I got a few notes here, but let's talk about this a little bit. And let's say why I think that they don't come out in mass demonstration when a black kills another black, as opposed to a European killing a Black African. What You'll see me using words interchangeably here, but I always want to label and understand us as Black Africans. I don't care about this Canaanite, Hebrew Israelite definitions of who we are. Let's just keep it black and when I say keep it black and white, I'm talking figuratively and literally. Let's keep it black white for the simplicity, because that's where we are. One reason, big reason, that blacks come out in mass demonstration against white law enforcement, or even a white civilian that commits a crime against a black and becomes high profile, is because whites are understood to be someone that you cannot touch when they do wrong, someone you cannot necessarily accuse when they do wrong, someone who is not checked even a quarter of the time when they do things against blacks and Black Africans. It's almost like they have a right to do wrong to you and not be held responsible. And I think that wound that has been there for years has reminded the enslaved African that they can never do wrong when it comes to a black person or it comes to a Black African. Whatever they do is justified, but whatever we do, whether it's to each other or whether it's to them, especially to them, we are always wrong. And I think that abuse of power and that might over right and that white over right attitude is despised terribly by those who have been afflicted. As one man says, the tree remembers what the axe forgets about, but the tree always remembers, but the axe doesn't. The axe that hits it. So when you see a white on black crime, it triggers psychologically something that goes way back into how many people have been let off the hook and have not been punished, have not been tried and convicted for a low life, no good, good for nothing, not worth 2 cents black life as their behavior defines and their actions demonstrate that we're not worth a dog. And so when they continue to abuse that position, the blacks may come out. The other reason is it's authority and it's supposed to be law. That police officer represents the law. And he using that law inappropriately and wiping out a black life, especially if the guy is handcuffed, raises up a rage in the people that is considered abuse of power and it's considered privilege that we don't have. But let a black go and do some of the same things to some white victims and all hell breaks loose. They come out. But they don't necessarily come out like that when a white commits a crime to another white. But let a black do it. All he needs is a death sentence. All he needs is a chair, electric chair. Whatever the case is, they make sure that you are taken care of when you defend them. But when they offend you, a lot of times it's swept under the rug. And just in the turn of the last 10 years, they just barely getting into doing something because of that unrest in society. They have to do something. Otherwise, if those people didn't say anything, they probably wouldn't have done a darn thing. But let a black do something to one of them. Okay, so we see that there's the scales are supposed to represent justice, but we see that those scales don't mean anything when it comes to the black race. So that's one of the reasons why they cry out, you Uncle Tom Negroes, that keep asking those questions, you Uncle Tom Negroes, you Uncle Tom pastors, you Uncle Tom congressmen, you Uncle Tom attorneys, you Uncle Tom bootlicking, ingratiating, placating, Negro. So that's part of it. Another reason that they come out, or I'm sorry, let's go to the other. One reason why they don't come out with a black doing something to another black, because sometimes it gets way out of hand. They shoot. It depends on what they're involved in. If the dude is slinging, if he's doing drug, and the other man's doing slinging, he's doing drug, and they both smoke each other, one of them smokes the other one, we kind of look at it like, man, why'd they have to be in a life like that? We look at it like that. It ain't no big march because the brother was out there. But we don't like it. And then the other kind of scenario is when it's a young innocent little girl who's an honor student, and then they do a drive-by and they hit her with a stray bullet. She gets hit. Well, she wasn't the intended target, but they don't give a darn. You should see some marching and some demonstration for that kind. Even I think you would see it if a white cop went in and shot the little child and he was coming in there for somebody else and had no business shoot. That has happened in Detroit. So there's a lot of recklessness going on with the whites, but a lot of times they're not punished. A lot of times they're not punished for it. They always say that they're carrying out the law and their life is on the line, but they don't want to look at your life is on the line when that gun is in the hands of a wicked racist. Your life is really on the line. But they don't want to see it that way. So a lot of times when a black on black crime is man for man. And here's another reason. You Uncle Tom Negroes, here's another reason. A lot of black men in the United States especially, we don't look at no too many of these law enforcement as being on our side, that we should come to them to ask for help against somebody else unless we have a little education, a little degree here and there. And maybe we have some clout and we might go and file a little lawsuit and, use the administrative procedures and legit, what you call litigation to try to deal with some of these injustices. But a lot of these blacks, they don't look at these cops, and especially predominantly white cops, as being somebody trustworthy that they can go to and say, hey, my brother over here is doing this and that. So a lot of times those brothers take care of that stuff themselves, because a lot of those people in law enforcement, they don't really care. They don't really care. They're not interested. The way I see it as brother soldier, they're not interested in changing the black on black crimes that's going on, because it maintains a sense of street justice taking care of so-called trash. Let trash kill trash. That mentality that they have. Why should we go out and help two brothers that have a dispute against each other? We don't care. Let them kill each other. So you got that dynamic going on, which is racist. So a lot of brothers feel like they have to carry out their own justice and hey, look, we're going to get together. We're going to go over there and take care of old dude because old dude did something to my niece, or old dude did something to my mom, or old dude said something. So we're going to smoke that dude ourselves. We're not going to them because we don't look, there's no relationship there that they trust them, because they blowing our brains out as it is. So black on black crime becomes a thing where somebody don't care. You go out and you deal with it yourself. And they ain't gonna too much put no big beef over it. So sometimes black on black crime is allowed by the system because it furthers their ability to keep power over oppressed people. It justifies their need to be out there representing the avenging angels and the guardians of light and against evildoers. So it makes them look more glamorous. And then they put in the news media all the propaganda about how bad these brothers are taking each other out. So some of these brothers carry out their own law. And it's a lot of times it's man for man. When it's a black man to black man, it's man for man. Whereas when it's white on black, it's usually authority, abusive authority on the black. Now, in some cases they're justified because the brother just crazy. He pull out a gun and point it at law enforcement and they blow his daggone brains out. I mean, sometimes, law enforcement, they got to do what they got to do. So this is not a slate against the men that are doing right by the book. This is not against you, brother, man. I mean, or whatever, European. This is not about you. This is about the system, in the way the system has shown that our lives ain't worth 2 cents. So a lot of times we carry out our own stuff. And so most of the times, racist whites in power are not interested in eliminating black on black crimes. They just want to keep it contained and confined within a certain area so that it doesn't spill over into their community. Once it spills over to their community, here they come, man. Oh, we need to deal with this violence. But long as it stays, the Negroes killing each other, then yeah, man, let's sit back and let's drink some coffee and have a few beers, and we're just gonna mop it up. We're just gonna bring the hearse, and we bring the ambulance in there and the body bags and just wrap it up. We ain't got to do nothing, man. Just let them Negroes kill each other. So a lot of times, black on black grows and it continues to be a problem because of the people who are over it, allowing it to happen. And even if they were to do something, now I have to say this before I go off of here. Even if the whites and the cops and law enforcement were to come after our black men and try to do something, I don't think the community's going to take to that very well, because they're going to look at it still as another racial thing. So it's not really that's a hard chess move, because you're going to think that they're not qualified morally to do what you call elimination, extermination. So the black on black is the key, but I'm not talking about Uncle Tom on black. I'm not talking about house Negro. I'm talking about black on black, where the black deals with the wrong black and the black deals with the Uncle Tom and the black deals with the racist white. That power to punish is missing in oppressed people, and that's why you see it happening. I'm out of time. Thank you for joining me. Peace.